Hey guys, what's up? First off, welcome to my personal channel. If you're new to this channel and you've never seen me before, you probably don't know what I mean when I say personal, but this is my second channel. It's not really my second channel. It's a personal channel. It's like my main thing. But hi, and also this video is very late. I just want to preface that. Okay, I did all of this stuff. The PC's been built and all that stuff like 6 months ago. Right, I had a lot of videos I was trying to put out with the PC and use it a lot for a lot of different things. I got carried away and I forgot to actually record this portion of it. But anyways, I don't want to waste any time. Let's just jump right into it. And then I'll mention what I thought about it when I did the whole experience afterwards. Okay, so first off, we had to unbox the actual case. It came with, some screws and like bolts and stuff and a little thank you letter, which was pretty cool. Shout out to Lee and Lee. They didn't really need to put this in there, but it was kind of nice. Made it feel a little fancy. Not gonna lie, I don't read manuals, so I didn't bother going through it too much, which I regretted later. But yeah, this thing was really heavy. So you'll see me struggling a lot trying to move it around throughout this building process. And it's a mini, so I'm glad I didn't get a bigger case, but yeah, I think the hardest part was just taking the stuff off, but I try to make it fun for myself. Now you're naked. So anyways, we got the Lee and Lee 011 Mini in Snow White for the case, just like white, and to match the setup, so I picked it up. Then we got the N7B 550? 550, there we go. And then we got our RTX 3080 from Gigabyte, which is the holy grail, cost me an arm and a leg, but we like it. Obviously, we have a Ryzen 7 CPU. I went with the 7 instead of the 5. I just thought it'd be better. And yeah, I got a Z53 RGB LCD CPU cooler. This one, it says it's in white. The box shows a black one, but it says white, so I had to trust in it. But yeah, so I thought I'd go fancy on this. Looks nice though, like it. And then we have a lot, and I mean a lot, of RGB fans, and some fancy Trident Z Royal RAM sticks, and of course power supply 85 850, and you got your storage, your hard drive, SSD, and we're all good to go. So let's start with the motherboard. Taking this thing out wasn't really too hard compared to the other stuff. The other stuff was packed a little more firmly, but I mean, I had my troubles, but there wasn't any wrapping or anything. From after the unboxing portion, I tried to be a little more gentle. You'll notice I have a lot of struggle with boxes. Sorry if that gets a little annoying. I just, I try to be gentle, but yeah, I ended up stalling a lot with some of these parts, but it's all good. But yeah, overall, the motherboard is cool. It's definitely a lot more minimal. That's probably why I like in minimal in design. That's probably why I picked it up for the most part. It has a lot of stuff to it, so I thought you get a little bit of everything, so I don't have to like worry about it too much. A little foam box thingy in the middle to protect all the stuff in there. But yeah, I decided I didn't want to see a bunch of like cables and wires and prongs poking out, so I went for something a little more solid white on it. They did have it bagged up, so that part was cool, kind of, but then I realized I had to use scissors and I got a little nervous. They do give like this extra flap here, so I didn't have to use scissors, but at a certain point I thought I'd have to because it got a little stuck because there's some extra stuff. Like I said, there are still prongs coming out like at the bottom for like your USB headers and stuff. So yeah, I got a little nervous at this part, especially since like I didn't want to touch it too much because you're not really supposed to touch the motherboard at the bottom all that much. I tried getting it like without only touching the sides and not touching like I mean the top part's covered with a lot of stuff, but like I said, but I tried just placing it on the box easily, and yeah, that's probably the slowest process of this whole thing. But yeah, from here I'm just gonna put it on the box, and then we'll start putting all the stuff on and we'll start with the CPU first. Um, and like I said, Ryzen 7. I mean, the Ryzen 5 works for this too, but I thought, I didn't want to, like, I just wanted to push this thing as far as it could, so I thought might as well. I have a little bit of extra cash, so I'll go for the Ryzen 7. Um, I did buy these things during lockdown, so they were a little more expensive than they probably should have been. But yeah, so I did look for the white check mark, white triangle. It looks like a dot, to be honest. I really wasn't too sold on the triangle thing. Maybe I wasn't looking hard enough, but yeah, I matched it up to the actual motherboard, placed it in. I wasn't sure when it would click, but eventually it did, so it fell in, and then I put down the little metal stick there, and yeah, it was locked in place. I wasn't 100% convinced, but yeah, it was locked in there, I think. I hope. So far, nothing wrong has happened, so I'd say, yeah, it's all good. Then I got the world's bougiest RAM sticks. I got four of them. In total, it goes to, what is it, 8 GB per stick, so that's 32 GB in total. They gave us a little, well, us, they gave me the card and a full-on handkerchief for the actual RAM stick, and a little sticker, which is cute. But yeah, the handkerchief was funny. I don't know if it's microfiber, but it was cool. It was a weird surprise. But these things are glossy, dude. They were so shiny. Again, is it necessary to get these? Absolutely not. But the best part is they came with this sticker stuff. I don't even know what you call it. The wrap. The stuff you can just pull off. And that was probably actually, that almost made it worth it. Almost. But yeah, no, these things were really nice and shiny, and I tried putting them in the best I could without breaking anything. We'll find, you guys will see later. I may have not pushed these in as hard as I should have, but again, like I said, I tried being really gentle. It's my first time building a PC, so I didn't want to go too crazy here. But yeah, I didn't really. I was told I was supposed to hear clicks. I just did it to off the one click, and yeah, I got all of them in there at least, so they weren't falling off. Although they did fell off, they did fall off a few times off camera, but yeah, once they felt like they were firm, I went straight to the SSD, got myself the 980 Pro, the fastest one I could get at the time, and the one that makes sense for the makeup we're going for. This motherboard has a really cool like hatch for the actual SSD, and yeah, it fell out, but it's okay. I promise, it's fine. Um, yeah, let's not talk about that. But yeah, it got screwed in properly, and from there I got to get to the actual CPU cooler. This thing, I don't know, guys. I just wanted the LCD. It was cool. I thought, like, oh, if I get to see my temps on like the numbers instead of just going into the software, because I'm lazy and I think it looks cooler when I have like a clock or a little animation thing on there, then it'd be cool. So I decided to just get it. Um, a little weird though, because I'm gonna be using different fans from the actual NZXT ones that come with these. They are really like big. Like if you see here, they're gonna be like, they're huge. But yeah. First thing I did with this though is I unhatched the Intel screw-in plate template. I forgot what this is called. Like the actual, what is it? What is it? The plate for it, the actual plate for it, and I switched it to the AMD one because we're using an AMD, a Ryzen CPU, and I can't tell you how long it took for me to figure out which one was the Intel one. And that's me getting a heart attack because that's the first time I unhinged the actual case of it. Um, but yeah, I again, this case is amazing. Like it was like once I got the hang of how to open all this stuff, you can see here I'm trying to take off the glass. The glass I was getting very nervous about every time I took it off. But it just looked great. Like it was decently practical considering the size of it. There was a lot of stuff that you could actually get here. But yeah, the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to actually extend. So they give you an extension plate. We're not using a ITX motherboard. We're using a regular ATX one, and this does fit it, but I had to screw in the extension plate first. Um, and then from here I just screwed in the actual motherboard to all the screws to screw it in with the actual case itself, which came out pretty well. So from there there was a lot of screw. There was like eight different like screw points, but then from there I had to screw out the actual like CPU cooler templates, not templates, sorry, the screws for them, so I can screw in the template and the actual CPU cooler for it. And then I'd have to re-screw those. They were like lids basically for the actual screws, but I had to re-screw them in once I decided to actually put the actual CPU cooler in, which I also tried my hardest to make sure the thermal paste did not get touched at all. I can't tell you how much anxiety I got, but I decided to go for this lineup for the tubes. I thought visually it would look the best. I don't think it's the most practical way to adjust them. You can see me struggling trying to like jam them between my RAM sticks, but I made it work, kind of. And at this point, I had gone like pretty far in, so I decided that once I started like to actually get these screw lids on, I would call it a day, and we would move on to day two of me doing this. Um, so yeah, nothing blew up at this point, which was pretty good. But yeah, from here we're gonna go for the actual fans themselves, and there were a lot of them. Each of them had three and this little, well, I guess motherboard. I don't know what you would call this. Like their hub, their like RGB and fan hub stuff, which was the thing that actually gets the fans going and all the RGB signals into one. So you're not having a bunch of the cables just coming out. Each of the fans had two cables coming out of them. So you get a fan and you get one for the RGB and one for the actual powering of the fan. You can see me struggling here trying to take them out, but again, they got this unboxing got a little easier as I got through it. But yeah, so these fans were pretty nice. They were on the cheaper end, so I decided might as well just go for them. And then yeah, so screwing them on to here wasn't too hard. Obviously, onwards it got a little more difficult because I had to screw in like what, how many was it, like nine of these things. And yeah, the screws they came with were a little jammy, so I didn't realize, but you actually have to like you have to course the screws in, so you're not actually, there's no actual like real hole to screw these in. There are holes, but you have to actually like make it screw in, which Corsair, if you're listening, that might be the most ridiculous thing I ever experienced throughout this whole thing. If you could please switch that, that'd be great. Anyways, so from here I screwed in the actual fans onto it. So from there all I had to do was just attach it, but I had to lift my whole thing up, and you can see me struggling here, and excuse the mess. There was a lot of stuff on my table. You can even see my little laptop on the right there where I was trying to get, some guides to walk me through this. But yeah, after that I screwed it on, and I screwed on the top fans. You can see there. I know I cut a little bit there, but yeah, I just thought you guys wouldn't want to see me screw in three, so I had to screw in all the rest. So yeah, I think that's about eight in total. But from here we had to do the power supply, which I was happy about because, well, I didn't want to do fans anymore, and I'd rather do anything else at this point besides the fans. Um, until I actually opened it, and the wrapping all good, the box all simple. Just one small problem, right? So I was thinking like, hey, power supplies are all good. You just screw them in. You have your actual power cord, and then you just attach everything. So little did I know that, well, power supplies, they have to power everything, right? So that means they come with a lot of cable. And this is the part where I figured that out. And, I had to deal with a lot of cable already. So when I saw all the cable that this came with, I wasn't really too yeah, I wasn't too happy with that. Anyways, but after screwing it in, I attached all the cables first into the actual power supply, so it'd be all good. I put the power cable to the side because we're not going to need it until much later. Then I put my hard drive in. I struggled a little bit putting it in. The cage for it is great. It's just a little tight, But yeah, ignore all the random cables that are spewing out of there. That's just, that you don't need to see that. That gets cleaned up later. But yeah, the actual hatch for this thing was pretty good. I still have one space for one more hard drive in the future. I'll probably add him, later. I still haven't even come close to filling in the actual hard drive for this because it was a 2 terabyte. So it's all good. But yeah, I attached all the cables to the hubs. So like all the fans got, all the SATA cables got attached, and all the fans got attached and everything. One small problem though, I did realize I didn't have enough USB headers. So later I had to buy USB header extenders, which you're gonna see here. There's an extra, like I think four is what I got. Yeah, extra four USB headers. And actually, wait. So USB headers, and I forgot what these are. I think fan headers. Yeah. Anyways, after all of that, we finally got to the GPU, which is our RTX 3080, and yeah, you can see I'm pretty excited. So yeah, unboxing this again, same thing as normal. There's no wrapping until we get to the actual inside of it, which I guess is practical. But yeah, I got a little nervous, so it was easier to pull out. Got this fancy little Gigabyte box here, looking great. You can see me trying to struggle how to open this because I can't figure out. All you got to do is just open the hatch at the bottom. Yep, see? Yep, still struggling. Okay, and nope, it's not on that side. And yeah, me and boxes are are not great. But yeah, so in terms of the CPU, I decided I'd go for the 3080. 3070 in terms of performance, you can get away with a lot of 4K stuff. I haven't explored like 4K content directly yet because I don't have a just me throwing away the manual. I don't have the monitors for it just yet, but I do have a pretty extensive monitor. That's me presenting this GPU, looking beautiful as always. But yeah, so I wanted something a little more comfortable to push, like, because I have a multi-monitor setup, and in the future I'll add more. So I decided that I needed that extra bump from the 3070 to the 3080, which it was not an easy decision for me to make because it cost a lot more, especially during lockdown, for me to get the 3080 versus the 3070. But I'm happy with the results. Plus, getting a white one was not easy either, but surprisingly I got away with it. The Gigabyte one was in, high supply for some reason, so I'll take it. Anyways, so screwing this in was it wasn't that difficult compared to the other things that I did, especially, like the fans and all the cables I had to do in the back with like the power supply and all that stuff. So honestly, screwing in the motherboard was probably a lot harder. But yeah, the only thing with this is it was still a little tight to try and like get a good angle with it when I'm trying to screw it in. You can see I'm struggling here trying to like make sure it's tight enough. There was like some, some like meh attempts at adjusting it properly. I think at one point I screwed in the wrong height, but now yeah, it's all good. So from here, we're just getting rid of all the wrapping, which is probably the most satisfying part. Sorry you guys can't hear this part. It's just there was a lot of excess noise and a lot of traffic in the background. So I decided at least you get to see it. But yeah, this is the part I was looking forward to most because at this point it's all basically done. Again, you don't need to see the cables in the back. You're not going to see the cables in the back, but you do get to enjoy a little bit of. Oh, yeah, we got one more wrapping right here. Oh, waiting for it, waiting for it, wait for it. Ah, there it is. Look at that. Look at that. I think there's one on the other side. I'm pretty sure there's one on the other side. Maybe there isn't. No, I don't think there is. Or maybe there is. I'm just dumb. But yeah. So from there, it looks like, yeah, there it is. All set. Oh, there it is. Okay, yep. And voila. Wow, great. Looks great. And time to power it on. So I clicked it. It wouldn't light up. I clicked it again, and nothing happened. Well, I messed up. Turns out I got to turn on my power supply. Then we actually press it, and wow, it powered on. Look at all that RGB. Wow, nice. And my monitor would not turn on, and I couldn't figure out why. Turns out I didn't actually put in my RAM sticks hard enough. So yeah, yeah, I struggled for about a day to figure that out. Anyways, after fixing that, oh, it's all on, and Rainbow vomit. Look at that. Look at that. Looking great. And yeah, that and there's my monitor turning on. So yeah, that was me actually doing my first PC build. Um, Moral of the story, something is gonna go wrong. Something 100% is gonna go wrong. That RAM stick situation, I want you to know, you guys have no idea how much panic was going through my head because I had already built the whole thing. All right, I had built the whole thing. There was actually a little SSD issue as well. I realized I actually hadn't jammed it in properly. I didn't want to show you guys that part because, to be 100% honest, it's not that entertaining to look at. It's just for the rundown, some things went wrong and it wasn't a smooth ride, and that's fine. That's fine. Would I do this again? Probably, but would I recommend doing this if you would rather just like if you're thinking about, oh, it would be cool to do it. I mean, sure, but you might not have a great time. That's all I'm gonna say. But if you really want to build your own PC, and actually have oh, I want a PC with this parts, and then not have to find and look around through all these pre-builts and have to compromise to the PC you get, then I 100%, I think if you got enough conviction and you want it enough, then yeah, do this. But something will go wrong on your first try. 100% something will go wrong, and that's okay. That's 100% okay. The point is you're going to get it done, and it's actually going to work. All right, if you're worried and you're watching this or whatever and you're about to build your PC and you're nervous, trust me, it will work at the end of it. Will it work the way you wanted it to? Well, it might take a little bit. It might take a little bit because there is actually some things with this PC that I'm still struggling with. One, for some reason, the actual RGB hubs are not recognized, so I actually might have to switch out my fans, which sucks. Unless, I've done everything with drivers and stuff, and I don't know. I can't fix it. It is what it is. And another thing is there's Bluetooth issues with the motherboard. For some reason, it won't recognize it. And I had to get a Bluetooth adapter, which wasn't bad. It was like 30 Canadian dollars, but still, it was a little obnoxious, right? Like I got the motherboard for all the stuff and gizmos, and it has Bluetooth, but it just didn't show. It doesn't activate. It doesn't recognize it. So yeah, it didn't give me Bluetooth, and I was like, well, that's annoying. So you're gonna have some points. It's like a relationship, right? You're gonna have some points where you're going to enjoy it. Overall, you're happy you have what you have. And it's gonna come with some compromises, but overall, do you need to spend this much to make a PC? Hell no, you don't. I spent a lot of money on this PC. That is not a flex, that is a warning, okay? Is a massive warning. You don't need to be spending this much. This was just me, I had the ability to do this earlier, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna hold off for a good while and actually build my dream PC right off the bat. I didn't want to compromise. That's just me, right? That's just me. But if you want to get one soon, and especially if you need one and you think about building it to save costs, don't do this. Don't buy all these expensive, especially white parts. White parts are much more expensive for some, well, not much more, but they're more expensive than regular parts with gray, silver, black, and all that stuff. Just get what you need and get what you want. A little bit of what you want. You still want it to have some stuff that you want, but if you're on a budget, by all means, you can still have a great time building this and you can still enjoy the results. You don't need 32 gigabytes of RAM, and you 100% do not need a 3080. It's fine. But yeah, in terms of my PC, I love it. It's great. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see more stuff on my setup, which I will be doing, you saw a little glimpse of it with the monitor and stuff. You know what to do. All that YouTube stuff. Light up the like button, smash up the sub button. Let me know you guys enjoyed this stuff. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this stuff, the setup and my tech kind of aspect of what I like on the channel. You'll see a lot more of that, a lot more vlogs, a lot more personal stuff on this channel. Like I said, it is the personal channel for me. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Remember, you can do it. It's fine. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good day. Take care. Peace and goodbye.